You know that feeling when you grab a bargain fridge off the clearance floor, only to discover the shelves sag, the temperature swings, and you end up buying a second unit just to keep the groceries from spoiling? That buyer's remorse is the exact reason I hesitated before looking at any of the retro-styled refrigerators that have been popping up on Instagram feeds. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The Smeg FAB28 promises that old-school charm without the usual cheap brand headaches. So the question is whether it actually backs up the hype or if it's another pretty face that leaves you scrambling for a backup plan. When you stand in the kitchen aisle and see a gleaming white unit with those classic 50s curves, you start picturing it as the centerpiece of your breakfast nook, the conversation starter at brunches, maybe even a subtle nod to the design-savvy friends you love to impress. At the same time, you're thinking about the practical side. A refrigerator isn't just core. It's a workhorse that runs 24/7, stores leftovers, keeps drinks cold, and preserves a week's worth of groceries. A misstep here means not only wasted money but also wasted food. And in a world where energy bills are climbing, you can't afford an appliance that drinks power just to look good. The Smeg FAB28 is a 24-inch top freezer model, which places the freezer compartment on the upper half of the cabinet. That layout is something you'll see a lot in vintage-inspired designs, and it's worth thinking about before you commit. If you tend to grab frozen pizzas or ice cream first thing in the morning, you'll find yourself reaching up rather than down, which can be a minor inconvenience for taller users or people with limited mobility. On the flip side, the lower fridge section is at eye level, making it easier to see what you have, pull out everyday items, and keep your meal prep organized without constantly bending. One of the first things I noticed after unboxing the FAB28 was the way Smeg handled the interior organization. The 3 adjustable glass shelves can be repositioned with a simple click, which is handy when you have tall bottles of juice or a stack of casserole dishes. Because the shelves are made of tempered glass, they're less prone to cracking under weight compared to thin plastic, and you can actually see through them when you're looking for that elusive leftover container. The door itself has an optimized layout with a small bin that fits a butter dish or a handful of condiment bottles, and a narrow shelf that's perfect for a couple of small jars or a pack of sliced cheese. That door organization is not just a design flourish. It actually cuts down on the time you spend rummaging around for that one sauce you need while cooking. The freezer compartment, while compact, offers a decent amount of space for a family of 4 if you keep things tidy. The top freezer design means the freezer's lid sits flush with the cabinet, preserving the sleek line of the retro aesthetic. However, the trade-off is that you lose the deep pull-out drawers that many modern freezers have, which can make stacking freezer bags a little trickier. If you're the type who freezes bulk meals in large containers, you might find yourself rearranging more often than you'd like. On the other hand, for everyday frozen items, ice cream, frozen vegetables, a few packs of pizza, the space is more than adequate, and the consistent temperature control, thanks to Smeg's Multiflow cooling system, prevents frost buildup that can otherwise force you to defrost manually. Now, let's talk about the real hidden cost: energy consumption. The FAB28 isn't the most efficient unit on the market, mainly because it's built to prioritize style and temperature uniformity over the ultra-low wattage operation you see in some of the newer, plain-faced models. If you're on a tight budget for electricity, you may notice a modest bump on your monthly bill, especially if you keep the fridge door open frequently while grabbing items. That said, the Multiflow cooling system does a decent job of distributing cold air evenly, which can reduce the need for you to keep the door open longer while you hunt for that specific ingredient. It's a balance between aesthetic satisfaction and a slight increase in operating cost. Who should consider buying the Smeg FAB28? First, anyone who values design as an integral part of their kitchen narrative. If you're setting up a small apartment, a boutique CAF, or a home where the refrigerator doubles as a visual statement, this unit fits the bill. It also works well for people who don't need a massive storage capacity. Think couples, small families, or even a single person who cooks regularly and appreciates the convenience of having everything at eye level. The adjustable shelves and clear door organization are especially useful for those who like to keep a tidy, minimalist interior without sacrificing the ability to store a variety of container sizes. Who should skip it? If you're a large household that stocks bulk groceries, a frequent freezer packer, or someone who relies heavily on deep